Break news coming in as far as markets are concerned. A big cheer as far as the India-US trade deal is concerned, and that's reflective of the markets, with the rupee gaining 1.2% versus the dollar after father of all deals. Just to remember, is coming on the heels of the mother of all deals with the EU, but the father of all deals between Donald Trump and Prime Minister Modi, calling him a good friend, a good leader. And of course, Prime Minister Modi, they're thanking Donald Trump on behalf of the 1.4 billion people of the country for the deal that the US president has announced, lowering the tariffs to 18% from 25%. Do remember that the threat that the Indian exporters were slapped with, not just reciprocal tariffs, but also the penalty for India buying oil from Russia. All this is coming at a price that India will now not be buying oil from Russia, is a claim that US president has made. We are seeing a deal that is done, and Nifty and Sensex in the green. We are seeing that rise as far as the rupee is concerned, strengthening of the rupee against the dollar by 1.2%. The markets are doing well this morning, and all this with the exporters there cheering as well, breathing lighter, and of course that huge sigh of relief when it comes to the markets. The rupee strengthening this morning, and of course also with the exporters breathing easy. To know more on this, we have Rudra Chatterjee, the director of OBT, joining us, as well as the co-chair of FICCI. We also have with us David Edick, the president of San Diego World Affairs Council and global economist and trade expert, with us. Thank you so much for speaking with us here on NDTV. Rudra Chatterjee, over to you first. How do you see this panning out? What does this mean for India? We're seeing the reaction that the markets are having this morning. We're seeing that the rupee is finally strengthening, and when it comes to the relationships that have been under strain for almost a year, particularly when it comes to the exporters who have now finally started to breathe easy after this huge announcement, the much awaited announcement has come about.
Thank you. OBT is very focused on the US market, as are many other carpet and textile businesses. For carpet, 60% of the business is US. For textile, 30% of the business is US. Now, while it is great for the markets, it's even better for the people. We have to remember 80 million people work in these labor-intensive sectors which are export-oriented. And in terms of money, it's significant. In terms of the amount of people working in furniture, in gems and jewelry, carpets, textiles, it's certainly a wake-up call so that these companies can diversify beyond US. Today it is significantly on US, but I think it's a relief that the US trade deal has been done, and it has been done at a rate which is competitive with countries like Vietnam, which are at 20%, or at Bangladesh. So that's very important for the companies. Now, the markets, I'll say, is not reacting as much as the economy will, because many of these companies are smaller companies. They are not in the Sensex, they are not in the Nifty. They are 100 crore, 200 crore family businesses that are exporters, but they earn foreign exchange for the country and they employ a lot of people.
Absolutely. Also when we talk about, increasing the market share when it comes to the biggest market, that is the US market for Indian exporters, particularly of certain sectors. When we talk to Mr. David Edick, but what is the price that India is going to pay for this deal? How do you see this panning out? If India stops buying Russian oil, can we procure Venezuelan oil, which is of the same quality as Russian oil? But the production might perhaps be an issue. Does Venezuela produce enough oil?
Well, certainly Venezuela is not able to cover any lost import share from Russia. And no, the quality is very different. Venezuela is very heavy oil. Some of India's refineries can handle it, but the logistics, the costs of transportation are going to be prohibitive. India's advantage is that oil markets are relatively loose, and there's a spare supply in the Middle East, and that's where India is fortunate. However, global oil prices are up in part due to the Iranian situation, upwards of $70 a barrel. India can, if oil prices stay high, this will be an expensive deal for India.
Right. In your words, is that India perhaps will not get the same quality of oil and also not at the same price that it is getting from Russia. Rudra Chatterjee, of course, Donald Trump has gone on to claim that this is going to put an end when it comes to the war with Ukraine. How do you see that panning out?
I don't know about the geopolitical aspect, but I can say that the India-US relationship is the most important business relationship for our country. And it's not only because of the size of the US market, which is huge, but the way the US market operates, the compliance that it demands, the quality that it demands, improves the standard of Indian businesses. Also, many of the startups, it's not just the trade in goods, but many of the startups that are later becoming large companies in US are being funded by VCs and PEs, which are American companies. I think it's very important that India and US form a strong business relationship. It is a very complementary relationship. We have a large labor force. We have a booming demand. We have a huge need for energy. We have a huge need for defense. And America has consumers who will buy the labor-intensive products, the IT services that India can sell. I think through ups and downs, this fundamental working between India and US has to be maintained. We certainly have to continue expanding our business relationships with EU, with Australia, New Zealand, all the free trade agreements, which frankly, I think got pushed further because of this US pressure. But the US relationship is fundamental to it.
Right.